What's going on, everybody? Israel Galindo here from Brain Creative AI, and today we are going to help you with productivity, and that's taking Office 365 and ChatGPT and making your life easier. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? Israel Galindo from Brain Creative AI. Today I just want to talk to you about productivity in the contents of business automation. Now, as a business owner, I understand the importance of streamlining processes. And yes, I'm coming to you live from the Oculus Pro, not only because we're recording here, but we're also recording in the metaverse, this same exact stream that we are doing today. Anyways, I'm excited to share news about the integration of ChatGPT and Office 365. Now, why is that even important to a business owner like myself? And that is because you can automate your workflows. Now, as a business owner, you will also notice that you're always busy. People are always emailing you really long messages or even short messages, and they don't get to the point. And no offense to anybody, sometimes we just ramble on, and we just need to know the summary, what they want us to do, and a reply. Now with ChatGPT, what I've been doing is taking my messages, pasting them into ChatGPT, and asking it to give me a summary and what they want out of this, as well as creating a quick reply back to them. Now, yes, this can definitely be done, and I will be showing that to you in a second. But one of the biggest challenges that I feel are right now is having to stop, paste it over, and not have the automated items that can be repetitive and repetitive tasks, etc. You know, like email responses, scheduling appointments, and even data entry items. So these things with ChatGPT are a lifesaver, and as a business owner, I've been using it probably for the last month, and it has been changing and revolutionizing the way I do business, as well as professional replies to customers and so on. Additionally, one thing that I do want to mention is ChatGPT's integration with Office 365, which is not out of the box. You have to do that, and this is what we're going to do today. Means that you can streamline your communication and collaboration process. So that means with such things as adding like a chatbot to your facility and helping out with conversation or even schedule meetings, it's going to be something that's going to be revolutionizing all of our businesses. So overall, Brain Creative is here to help, so we're going to do that for you today. So one of the biggest things that I want to make sure to point out is this is an example of an email from a customer, and it's a sales email. They want a bunch of stuff. We met at CES and so on. So what I usually do is I take this email and I copy it, and then I'll bring it over to ChatGPT. And so I'm going to paste that on there. And once I put it in here, then it's going to spit out what it's going to tell me that they were asking about. Now, this is giving me a summary of Pimax VR. Now, usually you can do respond back to email, let them know I am interested. And I can take that, copy it, it'll look at everything I'm doing, and then I'll copy paste it back to email. You are going to need a couple of things. Number one, and this is very important, you're going to need Power Automate license. That's something that comes with Microsoft that you actually have to purchase. I went online and I purchased my license. I think it ended up being $12. So you'll want to automate that way. I know that a couple of other YouTubers did not mention about the licenses, but yes, everything obviously costs money. So if you're going to automate, it's very important that you purchase the license. You're also going to need Postmate. And the last thing you're going to definitely need is obviously having your platform open for OpenAI. That's the other thing that we're going to be needing in here, so we can go into the API reference. Okay, so if you do have an account already on OpenAI, great. If you don't, go ahead and create one. Once you're in there, and yes, it's a free account that you can use, we're going to go to the API reference. This is going to be our first starting spot. And then we're going to go to completions. Now in completions, this is going to give you not only the URL that we're going to be needing, as well as we're going to have this curl example of the entire code that's also going to be needed. That's already prepared for you. We'll be modifying a few things, but the first thing you're going to do is you're going to copy this code. Next, we are going to go into Postman. And if this is the first time you just open an account, register it, it's also one you can do for free. And you're going to go up to Workspaces. And what I'm going to do is you're going to create a new one. I'm going to do a new one since I've already created that one. So get a new space here. Let's just call it OpenAI. I'm just going to put new because I have another one already in there. So we're going to go ahead and do create event. Now, once we've created the event in here, then we're going to import that code. So we're going to click this little button up here. It says import. And then we're going to paste the curl, which is going to be the entire item that we have on there. Now, another thing you're also going to need is your API key. So keep this tab open under OpenAI. And under your user, you're going to have view API keys. Now, to add a new key, you're just going to hit create a new key, and then it's going to give you a string key that you're going to copy and paste. And obviously, because these are secret keys, we don't want to divulge them to the public. So in this case, I've already got my key set in another location, and I'll be popping that up in a second to show you guys that as well. So let me go ahead and copy that key really quick, and I'm going to show you where that is going to go. But in the meantime, before we go there, one thing I do want to show you is once you've copied your key, go into the API reference, and then under completions, you're going to notice a couple of things that we're going to need. We're going to need content type and application. We're going to need that. So keep this open. Authorization and bearer. Now, again, this is something that you did copy to OpenAPI, so it's going to be under the headers. But we need some items entered here, which is going to be where your key is going to go, and then some other items on that. So we'll put that on here as well. Okay, so now that you've pasted your key, this is a very important thing to do. You always want to make sure that you post the key right after the word bearer with a space, and you're going to paste your API key. That, again, we got from creating your API key under your references in here. So you're going to create a new key, copy it, and then you're going to go ahead and drop it right after the word bearer. Everything stays the same. Now we're going to go over to body. And body, this is the model that we are talking to. Say, think of it like the engine, the brain that we're talking to with ChatGPT. And then this is going to be the prompt. This is going to be the same as me typing in here, and I'll just type it so you guys can see it. Again, I'm all caps. Write me a song about a bird and a squirrel. You can write whatever you want. It doesn't have to be this. So you can copy it or you can type it. Either way works for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into OpenAPI. And then here, to test it, I'm just going to paste what I just wrote. Okay, write me a song about a bird and a squirrel. It could be anything. Hey, you can say, write me an Eminem rap. It doesn't matter. You know, tell me all the different movies out there, you know, whatever. So as far as your tokens, this is how much characters it's going to respond back. So we're going to start with something like 600. The maximum is 4,000. So think of it like words, right? How many words it's going to respond back. So we're going to write it like that. Temperature, we're going to leave it as is. And then we're going to send this request to ChatGPT to make sure that it comes back. So as soon as we hit that, it's going to go and send the request to ChatGPT. Now, if it's successful, it'll actually write back to us the song that we tested in regards to that. So I'm going to share it with you here. Let me bring this up so you can actually see it. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's just a lot, but I'm going to show you right here that yes, it's going bird and a squirrel. They're friends living in the same tree. They defend, the bird would fly, etc. These ends are actual spaces, FYI, but you can see that it did respond back with what we needed. So it got us what we needed. We know it's working 100%. Okay, so now that we see that this is connected and working, now we're actually going to build it in Power Automate to make sure they work. So we're going to go into Power Automate, and again, if you haven't registered an account, go ahead and do that and get your license through Microsoft. So we're going to go over here and we're going to create a new one, and we're going to do an automated cloud flow. That's actually what we want to do. When this screen comes up, you can skip it. This is just kind of helping you build it. We're not going to need that right now. Once it comes up here, we are looking to use the Outlook product. So we're going to go here and use Outlook 365. That's the one I'm looking to do. And then what we're going to do is, I don't need these trigger reminders right now. It's when an email is here. So we're actually going to be doing when an email arrives. So we're going to do this first one right here. So once we get this part, when a new email arrives, we're going to hit the advanced options on that. And then what we're going to do, because this is when an email comes in, we're going to forward that to ourselves with a very unique subject on that. It has to be unique. So for me, something that I'll remember, I'll just do, and I'll do caps, ChatGPT, please summarize. So basically when an email comes into us, I'm going to forward this over, and then this is going to start the flow. So we're going to hit next step on that right now. So the next part that we need to do is, after the email is actually preset for a search, the flow is now going to call an HTTP request. So we're going to choose this one right here, and as you can see, it's premium. This is why I told you you need that license. We're going to go here and we're going to select that one. Now everything in here is exactly what we ended up putting over in our account. Let me go over to our account, or Postman account. Now this is going to be the headers, the post, the URL, and so on. So we're going to start with copying the URL and then going into our flow. And then the method is always going to be a post. That's exactly what we want. The URI is going to be this one here. So we're going to do the completions that we have. You can click anywhere to get rid of that window. And then here, we're just going to copy the exact headers as we have them over in the other window. So let me go back into this window, go to our headers, and we are going to do this one here. And we're going to drop it into here. And then we're going to go back to this window, application JSON, copy that guy over as well. So we're going to drop that puppy in there. And then since I have another header on here, because you saw there was a couple, same thing here, authorization. Go back to it, drop it. I know it's tedious. This is just how it works. We're going to go into this guy. Got to go in this puppy, drop it into that, and let it go. And then what we'll end up doing is, let me get out of this screen. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hit the next spot. So next step we're going to actually do on here is the body, right? Because we added everything else. So we're going to go back into this piece here and to Postman, and we're going to go into body. And we're just going to literally copy this entire JSON on here. Go back into here and drop it into body. Now you'll notice that this is when we typed, write me a song about a bird. We're not going to want that. We're going to want the prompt to do what we wanted to do when we were doing it over here, right? So I'm going to go here and I'm going to basically go. So it says, give me a summary and to-do list for this email. So I'm going to do that with, you know what? And I'm going to add one more request on that, because this is the easiest thing. It's just going to give you a summary and a to-do tasks from the email. But I want to go one step further. I also wanted to already create a reply for me so I can already have it ready, right? Because I want to be that more efficient. So I'm going to get that right there. No need for caps or anything unless you really wanted it. But I'm going to go back into here. And let's go back into our automate. And in this window right here, let me open this up a little more so we can see it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to override this here. Let me add a little space, of course. Didn't grab it as I wanted it. All right, let's kill that. But what I'm going to do also, get me a summary and to-do task list for this email. And I'll just put also create a response back for me. And I'm going to put a colon. Now, there's a reason why I'm putting a space on there, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. This window that's on the bottom that you can barely see, this is actually going to be something that we want to do as far as the body. So I'm going to put my mouse on there so it clicks, and I'm going to go the body of the message so it understands what I'm referring to, so you don't have to copy and paste it. So I'm going to do that right there. So boom, there it is, and it knows that is exactly what I'm doing. As far as the tokens, because it's more characters, I'm going to put the maximum, which is 4,000. So everything looks good here. We've entered our data, we've entered our headers, we've got the URI on there, and with the post, that's all we need on there. So once it's ready, I'm going to go ahead and hit next step. Okay, so the next step is going to be to parse JSON, our data, so it understands what it's looking for. So we're going to go on the next operation, and we're just going to put the word parse in JSON. So it's going to be right down here. I'm going to select that one. Now, we need an example so it understands. Remember when we looked at writing the song for us? So we're going to go back over here, and we're going to take this entire data right here, all the way down, because this is kind of an example, or the example of what we were looking for when we asked the item right up there. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this. All right, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to go back into here, and I want to generate from a sample, right? So I want to drop it in here, and I'm going to say done. Now this is actually going to put the information for me in that. So here it is. Here's the full example of what it's needed, making sure that everything I've added is in that spot. Let me verify it. And yes, this is the full thing. Okay, so in here, I'm going to be pulling it from the body of the message. That's basically what we're pulling the information from. So I gave it the example. I'm going to go ahead and do body, because that's exactly where we want it to come from. And then we're just going to be going to the next step. Okay, so in this operation right here, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Outlook, because now we're talking to Outlook again for a response. And then we're looking for the reply to. So we're going to go down the list. You can type R. It'll make it easier as well, but there's reply to email. Boom. And then in here, we're looking for the message ID, right? So we're going to go down this list, and we're going to do basically the message ID, which is going to be this one right here. And then in the body of the messages, we're referring back to the JSON parse. And what we're looking for is we're looking for the text of the JSON on there as well. So what you're going to notice is you're going to notice on here the different models that we have, the different objects. And I'm looking for the one that says text, because that's the one I need. Now you notice that it's going to be on here called choices, which is the text one that I'm looking to do. Okay, so now that we've done that piece right there, we're going to save this flow. Once you've got it saved on here, make sure that the entire flow is on there, and it'll say it's ready to go. So we want to go ahead and test it on the top right, and we're going to do manually, and we're going to hit test. Okay, so while this is testing, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to Outlook, and we're going to find an email, and most likely this is probably the best one right here. I want to just forward this to myself, and in the subject, it's going to be that word that we used, right? The ChatGPT, please summarize. And I'm going to send it off to myself. So in a second, the automate, and depending on the speed, your internet, automation, queues, and all of that, you should get an email back in a few seconds here. So as you can see, the message originally was a lot longer. So we're going to look at the original message that we had here, which had all of this information in it, including theirs. And the summary really came back as this. So this is basically what it told me, that Max Wang was trying to get a hold of me, introducing their items. So yeah, it's a little bit shorter, but at least it is better. Anything you ask ChatGPT, you can do it so it comes back on here. So you can play around with this, you can change it. Now, this is a reason why I had one that was a lot longer. I picked another one that was maximizing the number of length on purpose, because I wanted to show you. This is one of the tests that you always want to also check too. If your request is for a larger email that goes pages and pages and pages, yes, the model is going to say, hey, that's too many tokens, a little more. So what you could do on those scenarios is you can actually switch it to smaller tokens. So as you can see, to make mine work, I dropped it to 2,000, which makes it a smaller request versus where we originally had it at 4,000. And then that should help you fix in case you do fall into any errors or issues. But you can always tweak this around. The flow is actually there for you. So you should actually be able to go in here and look at any of these flows. Multiply, change, parse, anything you want to do, you can actually do it. Any requests that you have, please let us know. And don't forget to like and subscribe this video, share it to your friends. And any questions you have, we are definitely here to help you. I'm Israel Galindo with Brain Creative AI, and I will see you on the next one.